Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. This is once again Vintage and once again Atraxa Oath in an unusual release pattern for this channel. I've released the same deck 2 days in a row, and it's a deck that I also played within the last 2 weeks before that. And that's because this is my deck for Eternal Weekend Prague. I'm recording this Tuesday, November 14th. I get on a plane for Prague tomorrow, Wednesday the 15th, and I'll be back. And the tournament will be over by the time this sees the light of day. But right now I'm in my serious testing mode for this tournament. I'm locked on Oath. I want to get my reps, and I've played 2 leagues so far with slightly differing lists. Same core strategy, just some flex slots moved around, and I am 10-0, 2 leagues, 2 trophies. A strong start to this process. I'm completely sold on 3 Oko in the main over any number of Narset, and I'm completely sold on Sarah's Emissary as a sideboard juke over Sphinx of the Steel Wind. The thing that's left to figure out for me is if I want a Gaia's Blessing in the deck or not. In yesterday's league, there were multiple spots where I was like, man, this would be easier with a Gaia's Blessing, but then I won the match anyway. Maybe it's just training wheels. Maybe it's actually good enough. I'm going to play again without it and see if there's any spots where I really miss it. And if there's not, this is going to be it. And if there is, then I'll find a cut for it. And that's really the last thing to consider. The goal of this deck, if you've missed the first 2 entries in the series, Oath of Druids and Show and Tell, are both ways to put big idiots into play from your hand or deck. Atraxa is your big idiot. You can also Show and Tell or Tinker for Bolas the Citadel and then start casting cards off the top of your deck, which eventually ends up at a big idiot Atraxa. Oko, also just quiet hero of this deck. You have all the scary stuff happening, but then you just start elking out and beating people down for 3. Won several games yesterday just by the back of an early Oko. The sideboard gives you the Sarah Emissary I already mentioned, and Portal to Phyrexia for creature-heavy matchups. This is something you could Show and Tell or Tinker for. Can't Oath into this one. But you just have a bunch of powerful giant things, and a shell that supports putting them into play, and then winning once they're there. And that's the whole deck. Patreon subscriber Brendan gave me a dealer's choice to do whatever I want. And what I want to do is test Oath one more time before I get on this plane. See if we can extend this 10-0 run to a 15-0. Let's do it. This is Brendan's Atraxa Oath. 3-for-1 Trading's Black Friday sale is running now until Monday. Their whole inventory is 5% off, and they offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over $500. Today they're having additional selected high-end foils on sale. This is on top of their Black Friday sale, and supply is limited. Visit shop.3for1trading.com to learn more. I'm on the play in round 1. I have a turn 1 Demonic Tutor with Force backup. I could also turn 1 Time Walk, and then untap Mystical for Ancestral. Fire the Ancestral, still have DT in my hand. But that uses up all my blue cards. I'm going to keep, and I think this DT is for Tinker. If I had Oath or Forbidden Orchard in my hand, I would get the other one, but I have neither. But I can set up a Tinker here. And because I'm on the play, I won't know before I make a decision if they're a deck that's going to naturally supply me with creatures. If this was just like Initiative or some bizarre deck, I could grab Oath and know that it'll trigger eventually. They have mulled to 5 so far, but none of them were Serum Powders, so I don't have any information yet. Yeah, I'm just on Team Tinker. If I don't draw a Mox next turn, or some other source of fast mana, I won't have my land drop going into the Citadel. And this list does have more lands than the average Vintage deck, kind of by a lot. But I still think just holding that up is good enough in most situations. Opponent's on 5. I'm threatening a protected turn 2 Tinker with Force backup. I said protected. That's what with Force backup means. I said the same word twice. It's all good. You know what I meant. Okay, Demon, find me a Tinker. And let's do it. There's been some discourse online among people who are both play Vintage a lot and play Vintage sometimes, talking about why is Bolas' Citadel in your deck with 4 Atraxas? Your mana values are off the chain. And the answer is because Atraxa wins the damn game when she shows up. It doesn't matter what your life total is. And then quickly pulls your life total back ahead. And you get tight little lines like this where with one single tutor, you could do multiple big things. Thorn of Amethyst, gross. Okay. And I'm forcing this. The question is with what? Because Time Walk, once I have anything on board, Time Walk just shuts the door. If I Bolas' Citadel, I was about to say if I Bolas Citadel into a blue source, I can Mystical and just set up whatever on top of the deck. But my blue Mox is already in play. It would have to be Lotus Petal or Black Lotus. I'm going to lose the Mystical here. This would be a very good time to draw even just some random off-color Mox. I guess I could, if I draw a land, I could Time Walk then Tinker. Didn't draw the land. I'm just going to send it here. Hopefully Atraxa is just the top card of my deck. Citadel, and it's a land immediately. Okay. And that is something we were worried about and aware of. It looks like we're against shops. Just going to hope they don't have anything huge going on over there. If their plan was to just stick a Thorn and then activate Saga a few times, we got that beat. That was their draw for the turn. That would have been in play already if they had it last turn. Wasteland, don't care. I'm done spending mana this game. It took out my C. 2 cards left. A Sphere would be really bad. They appear to be just passing, though. Okay, we're in there. Show and tell. Fuck. And I guess I cast it and put in this Forbidden Orchard. They might get something good here, which sucks, because Shops does have a bunch of scary permanents, but I have to clear the top of my deck. Just put in a land. Sneaky, cheeky extra land drop there. I have a fetch to clear this Beseju. Get Underground Sea. No, the only black card left in my deck is Vampiric Tutor, and I do have Forbidden Orchard. Yeah, I guess Trop. Oh, bummer. Gonna have to use my Time Walk. That's what it's for, though. We did play to this possibility. And we get another round of Citadel with land drop. Did they forget that I Time Walked? Why did they just make a construct? Maybe they're just getting their F6 value. Okay, here's Oath. Needed that last turn. It's nice of them to make a construct, though. Oath of Druids. Oko. My life total's getting low. Okay, there's Vamp Tutor, who is unfortunately just a little late here, because if I Vamp Tutor, I go to exactly 7, and then I can't cast the Atraxa on top of my deck. But still going to do this. If I could get Atraxa into my hand, then Show and Tell. That's also a dub. A Vamp Tutor. How do I put Atraxa in my hand here? It's probably just Ancestral. My Demonic Tutor's already gone. I don't have the ability to draw a card in play right now. Yep. Ancestral's on top of my deck. Target myself, hold priority in case it's an instant. It is, but not when I want to cast. Another Oath and a Mox Emerald. Uh-oh. Okay. I'm going to stop losing life here. Forbidden Orchard, Mox Emerald, Oko make me a blocker, and I have to survive a turn here. And then I'll trigger my Oath and have Atraxa versus their card in hand that was not worth putting in off Show and Tell. They get a second construct and a tutor here. They could Needle Oko. I don't think Vintage decks play Shadow Spear. They also don't have the mana to equip a Shadow Spear right now because of Shop. I don't know. We're about to find out. Got Soul Ring. They're just filtering mana into different mana here. If they have a Dismember, I could Flusterstorm it. Phyrexian Revoker. Okay. I don't think I care about this, which is good because I can't do anything about it. Like, Oko, Lotus, and Citadel are all activated abilities, but it's fine. They probably name Oko here, would be my guess. Unless they're worried about Black Lotus dumping out a bunch of stuff that my Atraxa is about to give me. Because we are getting an Atraxa. Oko's the name. Gonna have to chump block. Block. This is a spot where access to more Time Walks would be great. That is my biggest criticism of the deck. You only get one Time Walk, and you want many. I would like to use this ability. Atraxa's here. She triggers. I would like Beseju as my land. Force as my instant. Jet, Oath, Oko are just blocked as my other cards. I'm drawing Strip Mine for turn. That's not bad. Another Atraxa on top. Can't cast that one. Okay. Mox Jet can come in. I can Beseju the Revoker. and then make more Oko stuff. I'm going to Besage you, the Revoker. It only costs 1 because I am a mighty legendary gamer here. Just inexplicably tapped my Trop instead of my Besage you to do that. I hope that doesn't matter. But, yep, small bleed. Pay attention. They don't have a basic. Strip mine. Take out your shop. Don't want you doing anything. I think a blocker is worth more than a food here. Yeah, just make sure I don't get cheesed around. Cool. Sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm not really close to doing that. I'm not going to play out a second Oath, and there's just not a reason to do that. Okay, their 2-card hand and 4 mana has to beat my Force of Will. If they have a Caracas, that would actually be devastating. Patches O'Houlihan, I'm not going to interact with that, I don't care. That actually just keeps their creature count high for my Oath. And I know I have another Atraxa directly on top. Cool. Alright, yeah, just shoving Bolas' Citadel into play. Wins games sometimes. What a surprise. A Force of Vigor, Force of Vigor, Force of Negation are all cards I like. Mental Misstep, Gitaxian Probe, Flusterstorm is the easy package of cards to cut versus shops because 3 of them basically have no text at all, and then 1 of them you don't care about, Gitaxian Probe. I could see arguments for Dismember, Sarah's Emissary, and Mindbreak Trap here. I don't think we're a deck that needs Mindbreak Trap versus shops. There are lots of blue decks where if you just need another effect that could stop like a Mox 3-ball start, you bring in Mindbreak Trap. I don't think we're one of those. I don't want Null Rod because I want all my artifact mana accessible to help get over their squeeze. Portal gives me something else to tinker for if they have a couple spheres and Citadel's not an option. The Emissary is really interesting because I feel like pro artifact or pro creature both just blank their deck, but also Atraxa, if they don't have exactly Caracas, also blanks their deck. Maybe I actually cut Citadel on the draw entirely, and Portal is just my tinker thing now. Is that reasonable? Just doing a once-over for any things that are obviously not good for this matchup. Can I get another Sarah's Emissary in here? Does that matter? Yeah, I'm going to try it like this. No Citadel means I don't have to fight as hard against Spheres, because that's not my plan anyway. Spheres are still annoying, but they're not a must counter. Okay, this hand is pretty fire. This is a turn 1 Time Walk plus Mystical for Tinker, if I just want. This would be a great Bolas' Citadel hand, but not if they Sphere me. I am going to keep this. If they have a Thorn or a Sphere of Resistance, I can drop out all my Mox in. If they have Trinisphere, I'm dead. And if they just play a creature and don't actually disrupt me, I get to assert myself. Sphere of Resistance, okay. Alright, that slows down the Busto hand, but I'm still dumping out a bunch of mana on turn 1. Oh, even more. Gross. And I can play around Wasteland by getting my basic island, because I have Jet, Emerald, Sapphire, the 3 on-color Moxen. Yeah. But if they Wasteland me, they're not activating Ursa Saga. Is that a win-win? They have Wasteland eventually. Okay, I'll get the basic. And start dumping them out. Bang. This is why I didn't board Null Rod. That doesn't mean Null Rod won't be part of this game, because a lot of Shops decks also play Null Rod. This is one of the most unintuitive things about Vintage Magic. The dedicated artifact strategy plays Null Rod. Okay, they followed up with a Grafdigger's Cage, and no land drop, nothing. Okay, this was a pretty prison-heavy hand. I could Mystical for something here. I could Vamp for something here. Vamp for a land Time Walk is pretty underwhelming. The Cage stops both from working. I would have to show and tell to get an idiot into play here. Force of Vigor is in my deck, but I'm like not close to using it. Just gonna draw a card and play Sensei's Top. Sick. Rewarded with an extra Mox. Sensei's Top. And I'm not gonna look at my top cards yet because there's nothing I'd want to flip into, but I don't want to waste mana because like if I just top here, then I can't Mystical in their end step. Okay, they get to tutor here. If they Pithing Needle my top, that's fine. I feel like they have to get Soul Ring here just to play the game themselves. They're locked under their own sphere right now. Yeah, there it is. They got 4 mana, 1 turn only. Another sphere. Okay, so if I'm gonna mystical, I have to do it now. I don't play a Hercules Recall or any such thing. I could also vamp right now, just get Oath. Or that doesn't make sense. I think I should ignore this sphere and let Sensei's Top plus Time Walk do the work here, because like finding A plus B is a multiple turn line with double sphere in play, and I need Show and Tell plus a banger here. Yeah, I'm just gonna start topping. Pretty happy with a land in this situation. And then one Time Walk costs 4, Tutors cost 3. I can afford to top here. Strip Mine, not helpful. Okay, I think I do actively want to shuffle this pile now with a Tutor. I'll float a Force of Negation on top and then just pass. I can flip into Force if I need to, and then start assembling my squad otherwise. I think this is Mystical Tutor for Force of Vigor time. If I take out their Soul Ring and their Mox Ruby, they're just not playing the game. Is that how I want to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's really interesting. Maybe I'm supposed to be just moving the game forward on my own plan, but I can also just delete everything they have. I'm going to put Force of Vigor on top, and then I'll look with top just in case something better has shown up since. Oh, hello. Atraxa, Oath, Force of Vigor. Those are all pretty good cards. Hit the Soul Ring, and I don't think they actually have red or white cards in their deck, but I'm going to take 3 mana out from under them when they have no lands and no spheres. This could go sideways if they just rip a workshop and then just start casting spells anyway. I just spent a turn and a tutor removing a workshop's worth of mana from them. It is pretty much my kink to lock these decks under their own shit. Okay, Oath is here. I can vamp for an answer to Cage. I think I'm just going to look at my top cards. There's an answer to Cage. Oh, Oko is just lights out here, I think. Cost 5, that's what I have. Atraxa on the bottom of this pile. Oko on the top of it. Draw a card. Yeah, I think Oko plus Time Walk will just end this game. I'm just going to make a food here. I don't actually want to turn off any other stuff. Maybe hitting their Mox Pearl was worth it. And then I can't Oath plus Time Walk next turn. I could Elk a Sphere, then Oath plus Time Walk. Yeah, I think I was supposed to hit Mox Pearl, actually. Yeah, I'm drawing top here, and then... Or I have to Elk the Cage first before I do anything else, right? Okay, Elk your Grafdigger's Cage, and play Oath of Druids. Guess I might as well play my top here. Or no, I can't. It costs 3. Never mind. That would be cheating. Unfortunately, if I had thought, like, no information has changed since I topped last, and the Boseiju is above the Atraxa right now, and about to be milled, there is a tighter line to set all this up and realize that I want the Boseiju. Yeah, I messed up that top 2 turns ago. I think from this position, it doesn't matter, but you can't just say that and expect to win Eternal Weekend. Atraxa's in play, Boseiju's in my graveyard, disappointingly. Flash, Show and Tell, Atraxa, Mana Crypt, Underground Sea. Or no. Forbidden Orchard. Yep, that's there. Cool. And here's all those cards. Then I draw for my turn. And Forbidden Orchard. If I Elk my food, I can Time Walk. And then Bash. It's my upkeep right now, so I don't need to worry about them getting an Oath trigger. Okay, yeah, they're just dead. So this is 3, and then 13. They weren't quite dead to what I was showing them, but I think I actually do have to spam some Forbidden Orchard triggers to make sure they don't get an Oath activate, or spam some Forbidden Orchards to make sure they don't get an Oath after my attack next turn. I can put them to 3 creatures and 3 life, and me with all this. Yeah, that's what would have happened, but they're done. Cool. Took a little work to slog through the spheres, but we did it. Let's go. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is now available for pre-order through Coalesce Apparel and will release in early December. These will sell out and take time to restock. The holidays are coming up fast. Place your pre-orders for yourself and the BoshNRoll fans in your life today.
Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market, with awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll at checkout for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the play in round 2 with a hand chock full of power. I'm going to keep it. I've got some options here. I could just fire Ancestral, see what they want to do about it. I could try to get a Mental Misstep on the hook by playing top first, but then if I Ancestral into Oath, I can't play it. All right. I could also just shove Oko, see what they want to do about that, and then Ancestral later. Okay, I think I'd rather Ancestral now, which means I'd rather top now. Okay, here we go. Moment of truth. We did it. Mox Emerald, Taxiid Probe, what are you up to? Oh, a handful of Flusterstorms and their own Ancestral Recall. Disappointing on the Ancestral, they're going to get there. But, okay. I guess I passed the turn here. This is the Oath Mirror. There's 2 Orchards in their hand. I'm going to spin my top. They'll Ancestral. Maybe. Okay, they didn't. Black Lotus on top with a bunch of lands. Playing Forbidden Orchard as your land is so interesting here. You had 4 lands in your hand. And this is the one that kills you if you're wrong. Okay, I guess I'm the control deck playing anti-blue here. Playing against type. I gotta sequence my mana here. I'm gonna say Besage You. If they ever come up with an Oath, I just want to make sure that that's not a line they have available. I have 3, 4, 7 mana available right now. Oko plus Walk is 5, which means I can spin top and still have 1 left over. I'm going to play Delta and Black Lotus. If they do try to fire their Ancestral here, I have top, fetch shuffle, top again to look for a Flusterstorm. And I think I just win the game if I counter this Ancestral. I'm so far ahead right now. If I Time Walk, I have to spend 3 to keep it. But it does lock them out in the Ancestral for a turn. All right, I'm just going to put blue in the pool with my Lotus and cast Oko. Yeah, this is the type of thing you'd like the Ancestral for an answer for. I'll take my 1/1 and then I'll respond. Look at my top cards with my red mana. Not helpful, just 2 lands in a box. Fetch. I'll grab Underground Sea and then use my floating blue to top again. Show me that Flusterstorm. Mox Pearl, Lotus Petal, Oath. That's actually awful. This Oath is never going to be on because I have Oko, plus they started on Forbidden Orchard. I guess they're going to get an Ancestral here. It has to hit Force to stop me here, but that was a good hit. Moment of truth. We're in there. Okay. Time Walk. I'm going to bring the Ruckus here while I can. Elk my Mox Ruby. And then I draw a Mox Pearl. And I think I want to look at as many cards as possible here. Or hold up. I should use Pearl to do this. In case I want to attack with Emerald still. Look at my top cards. Force of Will. Nice of you to show up. No longer helpful. I have 4 mana available. Yeah, I'm just going to fetch, take another look, get another Trop, and I'll use the Trop to spin. Tinker. That card's good. And I have Sensei's Divining Top in play already, and they kind of showed me last turn they don't have interaction right now. Okay. Tinker. Oh no, I have to shuffle away the top. Bummer. I'm 1 short of doing everything I want to do here. Alright, I mean, I'm still going to put Bolas Citadel into play. Sacking the Pearl. Citadel. Shit. Hit a land. Oh, wow. Vintage players are the worst. Jeez. I was going to pass the turn. I mean, you know it's in your hand, but like, you're an Oath of Druids away from stability. Play this out. Jeez. Okay. Whatever. Okay, I did not actually play any cards that are part of the Oath package. However, Oko and Tinker for Citadel in the same deck is generally the Oath package, so we're in an Oath mirror. I know that for sure. They should know that if they're paying attention. I believe I want Portal in the deck. I'm boarding out my Oaths because they are a crapshoot. I have 1 I can tutor for if I want it. Show and Tell is primarily the plan. I played an Oath Mirror yesterday where they had Thoughtseize, which is really good in the mirror because you get to set up these lines where you check if their Show and Tell is better than yours and then send it. Force of Negation helps fight against Oko, which is one of the more important cards. I could bring in an Emissary, but between Oko and Atraxa, I care about multiple things out of their deck, multiple card types. This member could fight some Elks or whatever. Force of Vigor. Force of Vigor basically attacks mana. I
I could respond to an elking by destroying the thing, and then they don't have a creature. I'm not high confidence in this sideboard plan, but I know the game is more about show and tell than it is about Oath at this point, and it's mostly about Oko. Gonna try it like this. Well, I'm not getting Oath, that's for sure, but I also might not play the game at all if Oath isn't part of it. I'm gonna mulligan this. Okay, I'll keep this hand with show and tell, Atraxa, and Ancestral Recall. And as dope as Tinker is Brainstorm better here? Because if the Ancestral gets countered, this hand doesn't do anything. Oh wait, I just bought him an Atraxa. What am I even talking about? Why am I looking at my good cards? I had 2 of that card. Made you look. I'm going to be sleeving up my deck for this tournament in real life after I finish recording this league, and it's not often I bust out the big stuff. Very excited to put my hands on my Ancestral Recall and Black Lotus in real life. I also have a vintage set of staples, like Beta Soul Ring, Beta Demonic Tutor, that sort of thing that I don't use for other formats. Those are illegal in most formats, but I do play a lot of EDH and CEDH, but I leave the beta stuff for Eternal Weekend. I unfortunately sold my beta Mana Vault in like 2010, and now that card is a lot. I doubt I'm going to buy back into that. Okay, my opponent is ready to play the game now. I can stop talking about my paper collection. Tropical Island Go. Did we keep the same hand? Upkeep Ancestral? Oh yeah, you did it. So if I Ancestral now, I might have to go to discard, but they're on Misstep Force here. Okay, Force, Pitching, Force. All right. I just wanted to do that before they could Flusterstorm it. There's a lot of one-man interaction in these decks. And I drew an Orchard, which is bad if they don't do anything, and good if they play Oath. I'd love for them to show and tell here, actually. Just give it to me. I still haven't fully revealed myself as an Oath deck. Pithing Needle. All right, this'll tell me a story. Are they naming Oko here? A good day to die, LOL. That's funny. Sick one. Okay. Well, they have Citadel in play. Unlike them, I don't concede when I'm not dead. Rainstorm, Fluster, Oko, Demonic. This actually sucks. I really wanted a land here, but Oko does challenge Bolas' Citadel. If I DT for Black Lotus, this is a multi-turn line shit, and I don't have a shuffle in between. This really just did not go where it needed to for me. I could have conceded without playing this Forbidden Orchard, and then now any doubt that may have, any plausible deniability is gone. They know I'm an Oath Mirror, but I'm not going to skip a land drop when I'm facing down Bolas' Citadel with Oko in my hand. I guess I have to DT for the Force of Vigor I brought in. Brought in one of those, right? Yeah, okay. All right, they are giving me bros here. Playing an Oath. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to float blue. The second Orchard here actually does break this open for them. Or does it? Because, no, we'll both have 2 creatures on their upkeep. Both doesn't trigger. There was no spot for me to like give them a second creature there. All right, well, if this doesn't work, we lose. But if it does work, we're in good shape. Maybe I'm supposed to attack there. Okay, they can give me a Spirit, and then Oath will not trigger this turn. Force of Vigor, your Citadel, and your Oath. Exiling Oko. You have 3 cards in hand, plus whatever's on top of their deck. Their Nature's claiming their own Oath of Druids in response. That came out of Citadel. They're just gaining life and clearing a card, I guess. That was not a good answer to that, though. Okay, they found a Force of Will under the Nature's Claim. All right, they did what they needed to do there. The Oath is gone, though. Oh, you're a Saga build. This deck is very different than mine. That's not a card I have. And now they're Atraxaing out of the Citadel. Just show me 10 more cards. Now I'm about ready to be done. All right. Yep. These 2 games have come down to who's winning the Ancestral Recall fights on turn 1. Force of Vigor is actually might be better than I gave it credit for. And I brought 1 in, obviously. I acknowledged the possibility. But all right, is there a cut here that I'm happy with? Get this other Force of Vigor in. No, I think I'll leave it as just 1 tool, because it's really only good against Tinker. Yeah, leave 1 in the tutor package. It's there if I want it. Okay, I have the Oath nuts here, which can be a trap in this matchup, but I am going to keep this. I left in 1 Oath. I have turn 1 Forbidden Orchard on the play. If I just start spamming them buddies, I can present a turn 2 Oath with Force Backup. This is risky, but I'm kind of into it. The Oath Mirror is frequently about doing your best not to be an Oath deck, except when you are an Oath deck, and then it's go time. They didn't lead on Forbidden Orchard, that's good news. And that means we're going to my turn. I don't have to give them a buddy here. Oath. Oh, I did have to give them a buddy. Shit, because if they have this is why we test. If I lose this game, it's my fault. If they just play Orchard here and tap it, then my Oath won't trigger. And then we're even. I had to give them an extra spirit there to make sure they were always ahead on that. I blew it. Ancestral in response. Force pitching Atraxa. Force pitching Fluster. Okay. Well, they use their force to protect their Ancestral rather than to fight over my Oath. They might have more. Or they might just have the Forbidden Orchard, which I have failed to do correctly. And I guess I have Strip Mine so I can hit their Orchard and take full ahead eventually. Thoughtseize. Okay. I mean, my hand is not the important part of my game right now. I took my Tinker. If they don't tap this Orchard on their turn, if Oath triggers, they can't respond to the trigger to fizzle the Oath, because then I can float mana again. They have to tap mana right now to make this work. And we don't need to be in this spot at all if I just played correctly. Okay, they know how to do this, and they do have Thoughtseizes in their deck. Demonic Tutor, uh-oh. If they Demonic Tutor for another Orchard, they can start pulling ahead. Yeah, it doesn't even trigger if you have the same number of creatures at the start. I'm going to start with a Brainstorm. Try to move these cards around, have a better time. Okay, Portal's gone, and Ruby's on top. Now I have Force Backup. Might as well attack. Okay. Strip Mine, the Forbidden Orchard, and now I have Force for whatever they DT'd for. Okay. I'm back ahead in this exchange. I could have had an Atraxa in play already. They did tutor for another Orchard. Yep, they are simply playing the mirror correctly, and I fucked up on turn 1. I just thought I was being clever, but I wasn't. Now I have to draw through a bunch of terrible cards that don't help my game plan. Ugh. Well, this is why we test. If I end up 14-1 after this run of leagues, it'll be because I messed up, and that's fair. I am currently winning the damage race, though. Yeah, I'm just going to pass here. That Brainstorm lock was tough. I have to redraw this Phyrexian Portal now. Okay, they realized I'm winning the race and stopped attacking. I'm going to force this Tinker, and end step, I have to give them a buddy. This game is so frustrating. I'm going to stop complaining about it, but this game could have been over. Attack with all my creatures. Do you want to empty the board or keep it crowded? Because at any point, they could just block their spirits on my spirits and we go back to 0 spirits anywhere. Okay. And I'll pass. Saga. Okay. I mean, that's going to be dangerous to activate. But if they can clear my Oath, and they have shown me they play Nature's Claim. Oh, your own Oath. Now we're getting real weird about it. Well, Nature's Claim is not their plan. Confirmed. End of turn. Gonna float mana. And we'll go to my turn. The best draw on my deck is Forbidden Orchard. Show and Tell. Interesting. I don't actually think I want to cast that, because each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. That gets them ahead on the Oath game. Oh, that's annoying and weird. Yeah, it actively helps them to make them sack all their creatures. Sack. Keeping the trades tradey. Yeah, they're beating me on every resource here. But the thing that they want to be doing, which is Urza Saga, is under duress from both of our Oaths. Come on, useful card. Oko, Thief of Crowns. I mean, card is not bad. Blue, give you a buddy. Oko. I can at least make my buddies bigger. Or I could just make food. Yeah, I think I'm going to elk up my spirit token in a world of 1/1s. Though I can't attack here, because if they double block, then they get to trigger Oath. Moment of truth. Do they have a plan to get these constructs rolling, or they're just letting it run its course? Unfortunately, the Oko did show up on the turn. They can tutor Pithing Needle, which we have seen in their deck. But Oko is also an important card in their deck. There was nothing for me to elk, unfortunately. Artifact or creature. If they just had a Mox around, I would have just gone off with Oath here. Yeah, I think with the saga at the chapter it's at, I'm just supposed to hold this. Oh, they're going to cast an Atraxa. Or a Citadel. They're going to cast Citadel. Well, I mean, that's powerful. Oko can stop it if I get a turn. There's Citadel, and they do have a land drop. Brainstorm, and that should set up the Citadel pretty well. 13 life, though. And now that they're this far ahead anyway, maybe I do just jam the portal. If they end up with an Atraxa, I can... Well, I can't even put it in the graveyard because I would have to give them a spirit to cast Show and Tell. Life is hard. Atraxa, okay, there it is. I am going to trigger Oath, though, if they don't find an Orchard. Oh, they found two, don't worry. Don't worry. They had it covered. Right, these are the cards they kept. Oath, Flash, Narset, Orchard, Probe. There's the Orchard. Now they have Orchard superiority. They're going to be actively triggering Oath on top of everything else that's going on. I mean, maybe I can deck them at this point. Narset, I mean, good stuff. This is where I draw the Ancestral Recall. Narset gets an activation. She found an Oko. Opponent is at 6 life. What does that mean? Okay, I'm going to draw for turn and hope it's a good card. Tropical Island. Well, that means I can Show and Tell without giving them a spirit first, which means they trigger Oath, but if I'm firing Atraxas out of their graveyard, it doesn't matter, but they have Oko face up, but they're also dead on board if this works. Okay, I'm going to cast Show and Tell. And they kept Flash over other instants that they had access to. Maybe they're holding another Atraxa. Possible, perhaps even likely. Force of Will, exiling the Flash. That was their answer to that. Okay. I think I actually have to Elk Atraxa. I don't love leaving them a Bolas' Citadel, but this is the card that actually kills me. And I don't have good attacks here. And they can't trigger Oath yet. Okay. We're in a weirdo game, that's for sure. Time Walk at 3 life. They have 7 non-land permanents, and I have more than 10 life. They fetch to 2. The Citadel is running out of gas over there in terms of life points. They can trigger their Oath. Ah, okay. They're claiming their own Oath, going to 1, going back up to 5, because I have one anyway. That's more life to work with. That's been relevant in both games. That's cool. Nature's claiming something off the top to both clear it and gain more life when you have Citadel. Or some negation. Okay. Emerald. Here's your Oko. They're going to start elking my mana sources. Oh, they're elking their mana sources. Okay. They want to bash. Daxian Probe for mana. It's still the Portal of Pyrexia. They knew that already from earlier. Sending their whole squad at Oko. I'm going to trade with Mox Sapphire. They do get to kill my Oko here. I want to leave Atraxa because having a legendary elk is so shit. And this is their bonus turn. If they want to kill Oko here, or no, they just literally have one on board. Never mind. They don't have to animate another thing. They are ahead in every possible way. This entire game brought to you by not floating a mana on turn 1. It's turn 9, and we're doing all this. This was completely avoidable. Oh, bummer. They started tapping mana. They had 6 mana in the pool. And I thought I was going to get to keep my Oko because they'd have to Legend Rule their Elk. And then they remembered to attack first. But they definitely have an Atraxa in their hand. Oh, maybe I messed up last turn also. Because I traded with the Mox because it's legendary, or it wasn't legendary. But maybe I want them to have more creatures. Like if they have Mox Sapphire here instead of that Atraxa, they give me 2 spirits. Cast this Atraxa. I give them a spirit. I trigger Oath. They found Boseiju, so it doesn't matter, but okay. The trophy streak is over. Losing to myself. Turns out that's the only person I could lose to with this deck. Yeah, just a little rusty on Oath Mirrors. Forgot the... I said the play pattern out loud of I'm going to float mana, and then I was like, oh wait, no I don't. But I did. And I'm really glad this happened now before it happened in the tournament, because it's low stakes in a Moto League. This is why we test. This is why we do the work. Let's keep going. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist.
The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 3, and this hand has multiple exciting ways to cash out an Atraxa, but not the exciting Atraxa. I do have a turn 2 Oko and Force to Stay Alive. I'll keep it. And then I get to enjoy the forever debate of playing out Mana Crypt on turn 1. If they're shops, I'm going to wish I did. If they're anything else, I'm going to wish I didn't. Okay, I'm going to play it out. One of my least favorite things is losing to shops. So I'll just hedge against that small percentage of the metagame. Ooh, Oath. Okay. Well, another Oath Mirror. This show and tell just got a lot more dangerous. Grip Flip and punished for my sins. Hope that 3 life doesn't matter. Oh, sick. Well, I'm gonna Oko first. This is just one of the most important things in this mirror. And if I Oko, then I can show and tell next turn, and if they have Atraxa, but I also have Atraxa, and their Atraxa's an Elk, and mine's an Atraxa, that favors me. Maybe it's better to flash the Atraxa there, but I think having this Planeswalker down just does so much. And they're floating me spirits already. They are about this life. Strip Mine, okay. I don't mind that at all. I fully expect them to cast an Oath here. Oh, Demonic Tutor. Interesting. Is this the Oath, or do I save my Force? I'm going to save my Force, actually. But this is either like payoff or protection for payoff, which means they're already holding payoff or protection for Tutor. And I'm just gonna hope that they don't have protection or it either, and let them burn this card to do the thing. I can Elk my food, bash for 5. If they don't get something going quickly, they're just gonna die. So, and once I untap, I have Force Pitch, Show and Tell, and Flash and Atraxa for answers, both available. And if I draw a land, I can hardcast Force and Flash, and keep my Show and Tell just in case. Alright, Crypt. Won the flip. I will certainly not be casting an Oath of Druids this game. As powerful as we saw last game, just having the Orchard advantages and Oath Mirrors, we're now seeing my opponent, it's turn 3, they don't have an Oath in play, and they're taking 5. And that remains their only colored mana source. And the Lotus Petal gives me Force plus Flash, and keep the Show and Tell in my hand. Mox Jet, that was probably not the Demonic Tutor. I'm going to float blue here. This is actually super annoying because I can't force second main. I think I'm just going to Flash now. Put it on the stack. And if they want to fight over it, I can force their fight. If they don't want to fight over it, I'll just fill my hand and maybe have a different plan. I could have also just not done this. Okay, Force Pitching Mental Misstep. Do I think forcing them is better? Like, I could just let this happen. I could spend my Force to reload with Atraxa right now. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This is what we planned for. It's another 2 for 1. Well, I guess I spent Lotus Petal. It's a 2 for 2. But the Flash is hopefully a plus many. Okay, so they must have Oath in their hand if they were willing to force and spend 2 cards when Flusterstorm... Oh no, I had mana up at the time. Alright, never mind. Okay, so they have Oath in their hand. I can show and tell Atraxa, but they can show and tell put in the Oath. It's a little dicey. But my hand doesn't do anything else. They have another Orchard. Okay, if they cast Oath now, I just get more creatures. And if they cast the Oath, then there's no cost to me sending show and tell. It just fills my hand when I'm going to get Atraxa anyway. Won my flip. I guess I want to show and tell first in case they do just have Atraxa as the last card in their hand. I would at least like to Elk that one. And you've got nothing. I've got an Atraxa. Look at all these cards. 2 off-color Moxen. The Seiju can hit your Oath, you're dead. Flusterstorm. No, Flusterstorm is worse than Ancestral, I think. I'm not convinced it matters. I think the game will be over before I cast any of these instants, but I will keep the Ancestral. Done. Fetch a Tropical Island. I should attack first. Alka Spirit. Attack with the squad. And then enjoy my legendary discount to destroy your Oath of Druids. You get a land, but I hope I'm over the hump here. And pass. I don't think my build can keep up from this spot. We'll see if their build is different and has like something big they can do here. I mean, Tinker's pretty good. Citadel from 5 life, not very impressive though. They would need some other juke. Yeah, they didn't main deck a portal or anything. And that's probably the best card they could have here, but I'm not convinced it's good enough. Ancestral to draw 3. Okay, they're making a run out of this. I'm excited. Brainstorm. This sets up the Citadel, but they're now seeing 8 cards, and they'll know whether they can get through them with 3 life or not. All right, they found a flash. So they're going to get a reload here. They're at 1 life, and the Atraxa reveals Black Lotus Show and Tell. I mean, if there's a path, it's probably that. If there's a second Atraxa in hand right now, Soul Ring's in their list. That's different than me. Well, different than I'm actually level 1. I'm not taking credit for any of the card choices in this list. They took Lotus, Vamp, Show and Tell, Oath, Boseiju. Okay, and then conceded. Cool. Another day, another Oath Mirror. Gotta know how to play these if you're gonna register this deck. And we saw last round, Forbidden Orchard was the best card in both decks. And this round, their Forbidden Orchard just piled up a bunch of creatures for me to kill them with. I'm going to continue with my light plan here of getting away from Oath and into Show and Tell and just have more kind of scrappy stuff going on. My hand is the Stains. I will be mulliganing it. This doesn't do anything. This hand is fine. I'm going to keep it in bottom of Tropical Island. Obviously, I'm not like thrilled about this, but Sensei's top is Selection. Oath Mirrors frequently grind into nonsense soup where you're just looking for like a Forbidden Orchard or an Oko or one specific card. Tropical Island Go. To me, this just always indicates Ancestral Recall. Okay, Mana Crypt. That's good. Maybe it's not Ancestral Recall. I'm going to force it. Just slow the game down a little bit. I'm a little worried they might follow up with a Tinker. Oh, now I get to know. What's over there? Force of Negation, Boseiju, Oath. Okay. Oh, my own Ancestral. And you without a blue card. Unlucky. Pew pew. Okay, if they play this Oath, they're dead, because I have Forbidden Orchard, and they don't. On their Crypt Flip. If they go Orchard Oath here, we're playing the game that we played last round. Oh no, they drew Oko, no! Alright, I mean, I did just draw Ancestral Recall off the top, so it's hard to complain about anything, but that is a tough one. Strip Mine does not help me here. I'm going to play my Sensei's top and Polluted Delta. The Delta casts Vamp Tutor, which I am interested in here. If they don't come up with a blue source, I could Vamp for Tinker. Nope, there's a blue source. Alright, you got me. Okay, I mean, if this is how they want to play, I can Vamp for my Oath now. And that also gets forced. What do I actually want to happen here? Oh, I can Strip Mine them off their force. What does that actually do, though? I'm going to put Vamp on the stack and just see if I can get this force out of their hand now. They correctly let that resolve. I think I do want Oath. If they're going to be... If I have Orchard and you were making Oko idiots, I want this Oath, and then I want to come up with a plan to resolve it. I'm going to look at my top cards with top. More awful cards, okay. I'll keep the fetch land there and play the Strip Mine. And Oko's such a beating. So important in these mirrors. Unreal. We lost the flip. We're both taking 3 this turn. Elking up the Mana Crypt. Okay. Oh, am I just dead? Shit. Yeah, I guess I'm just dead. I don't even have time to Oath here. And they have another spell. Demonic Tutor. Okay. They probably just got a blue card here. Alright, I'm dead. Did not plan that out well enough. I think my plan is still the same. Nothing has changed here. And maybe that Vamp Tutor was bad and I'm just supposed to spin top and look for a way to either tax their resources or something. Because the Strip Mine was already in my hand. If end step top just like finds Oath. Wait, what just happened in that game? My memory is already confuzzled. Oh, did I find the Strip Mine off top? What? I literally don't remember what happened in that game already. Okay, I'm going to keep this. I like the top. I like the 2 Orchards. Maybe. The 2 Orchards have a lot of upside. If the Strip Mine was in my hand, like if I tutor for Oath, and then I'm looking at 2 lands, Strip Mine, Oath. That was it. I hope I'm just misremembering the game, because that's utterly horrendous, if not. Okay. I'm going to play Sensei's top. Hope it doesn't get misstepped, because it's my whole plan. Lotus Petal, pass. Kind of hoping they just go for a aggro show and tell. They're on 5 cards over there. Oh, good. They're on a Forbidden Orchard. That's great for me, because if they do anything clever with that Forbidden Orchard, I could just keep up and then pull ahead. Beseiju, Lotus, Atraxa. I'll take the Lotus. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can cast Atraxa next turn. And now they have to choose wisely if they want to float mana in the end step, now that I have an Orchard as well. I think with my double Orchard and Force, I just don't have to even do this. They can give me a second one. I could just play my Orchard, give you 2, and then you fall behind. I think it's actually better if they think the Oath has a clear runway here, because it doesn't. Okay, they're giving me another homie, and they're playing Oath. Awesome. Okay, so I will immediately have more spirits than them. And I'm just going to start piling up now. Not only is it good to have the spirit, but I get the top. Beseiju, 2 Atraxas. That's a lot of that going on. If I attack, they have 0 spirits to my 1, and then I can give them 2. If I cast Atraxa here, their Oath will trigger. Or no, we'll both have 2 creatures. Oh, I can Beseiju their Orchard here. Just fuck them right up. Yeah, I'll do that. Cool. Alright. Pass the turn. I think I'm supposed to play the Lotus. Like, in case they do pivot onto a Tinker here, I could hardcast Force. Okay, they're strip mining me. I'm floating blue. And they're done. Okay, cool. Just Forbidden Orchard superiority. Oath is a huge liability in this mirror. I don't know if they just kept a hand with 1 Oath in it and decided to make it their plan, or if they still have all 4 in their deck. I really like just being as little bit of an Oath deck as possible and letting their engine pay out my payoffs. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm on the draw in round 4. My hand has a lot of mana. Just have to figure out what this actually does. If I Lotus for blue, tap Forbidden Orchard to vamp, I can Tinker on turn 1 here. I Brainstorm into the Tinker and send it. I could set up a multi-turn Oath situation. I really hate that my only colored sources other than the Lotus are Forbidden Orchard. If my initial volley doesn't work, I am in trouble and just bleeding out to my own lands plus mana crypt. I think I'm going to keep this. The spec of a turn 1 Tinker is just so high for me. Opponent's on 6. Blue mana. Alright, well, Flusterstorm's a disaster for me. Can I draw? Oh, well. How about that? Oath of Druids. Beep boop, off we go. Okay, Forbidden Orchard, Mana Crypt, and green. Some extra mana. I should play out the Lotus. This opens up Mindbreak Trap, but plays around Spell Pierce. I guess I was already playing around Spell Pierce with Mental Misstep. Alright, let's see if this works. Okay, it resolved. We don't know if it worked yet. We might just, like, die over the top somehow. Get tinkered. Ponder. I think I want to jack them up on any possible option here. Just, okay. Misstep, misstep. Cool. Glad I drew the Oath, because that Vamp Brainstorm line would have been BTFO'd by that misstep. Alright, shuffle the Ponder and then die, please. That's what I need here. Yeah! Ding. Vintage. Okay, they're a blue deck with Ponder in it. That's all I know. I didn't see them reveal a companion. I hope that means they didn't. I've been very bad lately at, I mean, I'm normally, like, it pops up, but I have not specifically been checking if there's a companion. Like, if I see it, I see it, and I usually see it, but I have not been consciously acknowledging there is no companion here, which is probably something I should be doing just in case I miss it on Moto. Okay, a blue deck with Ponder, Misstep, a Mox, and no Luris. I think this is going to be some sort of Tinker Saga deck. That's how I'm going to board. I remove the Show and Tells. A trick I learned from I am actually level 1. When he is against a faster combo deck, he chops his Show and Tells and just plays like a control deck that has Oath of Druids in it. Oh, Mindbreak Trap should be in here. Gonna hope that I don't need this basic island. The Luris decks are all Wasteland decks, and then the combo decks usually are not. And when I'm bringing in Null Rod, I cut my Mana Crypt. Okay, let's see if I bet right based on the small information I had. But this is a spot where you get a lot of wins and losses. It's like, can you actually identify what your opponent's doing off of 2 cards? I wish one of these orchards was just a different land, but I am going to keep this Fluster, Mindbreak, Null Rod situation versus the suspected combo deck. Dang. I'm just going to run that out. I might want that fetch land to scramble up a Bolas' Citadel or shuffle a Brainstorm. Strip Mine, okay. You got me. Maybe. Okay, I mean, they didn't got me. Lotus Petal, Misty Rainforest. I think I just cracked the Petal to cast this Null Rod, because I'm going to lose it anyway. And I hope this is good in the matchup. They're not strip mining me. They want to do something with their mana. Oh, it's an Oath Mirror. Weird. Okay. Alright, yeah, my list doesn't have Ponder in it. But I guess Basic Island and Strip Mine are on the menu. Yeah, I am boarded completely wrong for the Oath Mirror, but I do have 3 Forbidden Orchards in my hand. I will be Flusterstorming this. Yeah, I just have literally the wrong half of my deck in my deck right now. But the triple Orchard hand just got more tempting. Ooh. Tell me your secrets. Cataxian Probe, great find right here. Atraxa, Citadel, Force, Brainstorm. Okay. Their hand is kind of mid, actually. That Brainstorm can change all sorts of information. At least I don't have to worry about Show and Telling that Atraxa into play, because I boarded that card out. And I do still have all my Oaths in my deck. But I have Orchard superiority, even through the Strip Mine, so I'm just going to leave my 1/1 and play Bashing. Another one of these. Attack. Okay, I can hardcast Mindbreak Trap now, which I know they can force. Oh, gross. Well, I guess I'm dead. Yeah, I'm just going to let them flesh in this Atraxa. They have Veil of Summer and Force of Will. The Veil is so much worse than the Force. If it was a Force, I would have at least gotten the 2-for-1 on the action. Oh, wait. No, I can't force anyway. I was going to say if I could force and then trap everything, that actually does solve the problem, but that's not what's going on. Yeah, if one of these cards was blue, I actually did have the perfect answer in Mindbreak Trap. Okay, they kept Ponder, Vamp, Mox, Trop. Got a 8-card hand, and I know 7 of them. There goes the Ponder. That's 1 spell. Ponder shuffled, and then they're just passing. I like that. They have to go to cleanup here. Lost a Mox Ruby. That's not the Sapphire that I saw. Now I have a flash. And a 3rd Orchard. Well, they can never Oath, and that's very clear. And if I find an Oath, I'm actually in a really good spot to leverage it. But I just can't afford to give them any spirits in the meantime, if I can avoid it. It's interesting they took Ponder over Tinker on that previous turn with the Atraxa, because they have Brainstorm to put the Citadel back in the deck, and these artifacts aren't doing anything other than getting tinkered. They just fired the Brainstorm. They've cast 2 spells this turn. The next one's in trap range. Okay, nothing there. My own Citadel. Cool. Well, now if they Show and Tell again, it's going to get interesting. Continue my beatdown strategy. I think I do want my Mox Ruby in play, just in case there's a spot where they remove Null Rod. Having more action is relevant. Here's the Vamp Tutor. This might be coming back around for that Tinker. It's certainly shuffling the Brainstorm, which probably included that Bolas' Citadel. Kind of hope they just went for Show and Tell here. The Citadel is what I'm looking for. Oko Thief of Crowns. Wow, that card's good. So if I force, and then you Veil, and then I Mindbreak Trap everything, you end up with 2 spirits to my 1 spirit. But there's no Oko, which which is the thing that's actually winning the game. Okay, hate this, but I'm sending it. And they do have the Force still in their hand too. Yeah, they've just had so much card selection. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Trap the Veil and the Oko. And we get forced, and then they get all their stuff. Unless they somehow don't have a blue card after all that. Oh, Spell Pierce. Even worse. Get wrecked, me. Okay. I'm super friggin' dead at this point. They still have their force. Even if I draw a mana source and shove Bolas' Citadel here, I'm still in some trouble. Well, they can't elk their own material here. That's really funny because of Veil. Or no, Hexproof. They can. Never mind. It's not funny. It just sucks. And they have a 3/3 and I don't. I mean, I'll take the land here. Yeah. Okay. We're going all in, kids. Hope you don't actually still have that force. Or you're out of blue cards to cash it. Because I'm loading you up here. Onboard Oko. Ah! Alright. It resolved. They just elk that thing and it's nothing. Alright, well, boarded completely wrong based on lack of information from game 1. And that's okay. They did a good job hiding their information. All right, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, Portal to Phyrexia, over 3 Oaths. This is what I've done in all my previous rounds. I've liked it so far. And I'm in for it. Oh, I should have Mana Crypt in. Oh, shit. Don't submit, shit! I forgot about the Null Rods. All right, my deck sucks. Just playing bad, doing bad, feeling bad. This hand is pretty rough. But if they're on a show and tell line, this is going to obliterate them. I'll keep this. I have Force blue card and Hardcast Force starting turn 2. If they ever play a show and tell, I put in my portal and eat their Atraxa, then I immediately get their Atraxa. Sensei's top. That's not fair. Maybe I'll draw Null Rod and turn it off. Alright, I'm going to play out my Lotus. That gives me Hardcast Force. And then I can force pitching Flash or other force, depending on how I feel at the time. Orchard. Well, I feel bad about that. Time Walk. I'm not using that. I don't care. Nothing's going on right now. I'll save that for later. It's probably better as a blue card for force than it is taking another turn in this spot. Your own Black Lotus. Yeah, they're hitting their land drops. Sensei's top is breaking over what's otherwise a pretty comparable resource situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to keep passing here. I know they're pulling slowly ahead with the top, but the best, or at least the most likely win condition in this mirror, I have the trump for in show and tell. Okay, now we're even on the Oath measure. Their Veil of Summers, though, are really powerful. Top is spinning. Strip Mine, that can take out my Orchard. I'm not going to give them a homie. It's just so bad if they don't follow up with Oath immediately. Okay, land drops, not bad. 3 mana in the pool, Oko. Well, that one's not cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to start with a hard cast. Okay, we did it. It only cost us a Black Lotus. Flusterstorm, right on time. Please cast Show and Tell. Alright, they're spinning their top. If they juke me by casting Show and Tell and putting in Bolas' Citadel, that'll be pretty good. But if it's an Atraxa, I'm ready. Mox Ruby, okay. I can hard cast a Force again. Honestly, the only thing I'm really upset about in this game is that they have top and I don't. This play pattern is fine. This is a lane that Oath Mirrors can settle into, where you're both kind of do-nothing control decks. And now I could Force plus Fluster. And in a do-nothing control deck situation, as long as you're developing your mana, you're okay. Which I am doing. I have more stable mana than they do. Like, I have 6 just taps for mana sources. They have 4 plus Black Lotus, and one of them's Orchard. Okay, they've tapped Orchard. Something's happening. You don't do this if you're not going big. White in the pool. Are they just casting Atraxa here? Abzan in the pool. Yeah, this is an Atraxa. Who I will. Force of Will. Blue, blue, blue. Colorless, colorless. If they force back, that's actually great for me because I've got this Fluster in the tank. Force pitching Brainstorm. That was a real card they just put away too. Underground Sea. Fluster your Force. And even if they have another Force to let Fluster resolve, then force my Force, I can Force again. Moment of truth. Is this going to be easy, or do I have to lose my flash to interact with this as well? Okay, they did pitch another Atraxa to another force. Now I have to decide if flash or time walk is better. And flash pays out my Atraxa better. I'm a white source away from casting Atraxa, even if I just draw it. I think I'd rather have time walk still. Force pitching flash. They've got 3 cards left. They could still have another force. They've been sculpting a lot this game. Oh, the Mind Break Trap. All right, well, they got me. Yeah, that's the difference between Sensei's Top and just drawing cards. And Veil, Thoughtseize. Have they made a land drop this turn? If they just Thoughtseize me, I'm so dead. They kept Probe, Force Negation, and Trop here. Okay, they see what I'm cooking with. The Portal to Phyrexia is visible. They did have a land drop. And they have Force of Negation in their hand. May or may not have a blue card. We don't know yet. I'm going to Time Walk, make my land drop, and try to cast Portal to Phyrexia, I guess. Feels bad. My own Atraxa. But there's no fetchable white source in the deck. No, I needed a Forbidden Orchard to do that. And it seems I have just bet wrong on keeping Flash versus... Oh, I only have 7 mana anyway. I wasn't drawing to a mana source. Had to be Mana Crypt, which is in my deck because I forgot to port out Null Rods. Okay, I'm good here. We don't need to keep playing. We both kept Dirtle hands, and they had card selection the entire game, while I did not. And it came down to, and I don't know how much interaction they still had at the end of that battle, but they were sculpted to a spot where they were able to cast Atraxa, Force, Mindbreak Trap, versus my Force, Fluster, Force, and they got ahead. Cool. Oath Mirror. Their Veil of Summers really obliterated me game 2. I was also just boarded wrong because I didn't know the matchup yet. I'm going to be thinking about Thoughtseize and Veil of Summer as flex slots. Those seem really powerful. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is now available for pre-order through Coalesce Apparel and will release in early December. These will sell out and take time to restock. The holidays are coming up fast. Place your pre-orders for yourself and the BoshNRoll fans in your life today. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market, with awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll at checkout for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line, and the Magic Gods have served me up the nuts. I'm going to keep it turn 1 Oath with Force backup, and it's off Orchard. Sit down and shut up, is what they said. I can even play the Oath without tapping the Orchard. Just the nuts. In case I lose this counter war somehow, I don't have to give them a 1/1 to hang out with. Neat. They may concede without me knowing their deck at all here. If they can't interact with this, it's probably better just to hide sideboarding. Bazaar Baghdad. Okay. They gave me a lot of information here. Where I guess they can draw with Bazaar, and before they discard, they could still concede. I know they're a Bazaar deck at the very least. It looks like actual Dredge. Okay, so they're probably betting that they can actually beat the Oath, which is something Dredge can do. Unmask, target me. I don't think this is worth forcing. All my cards are pretty mid. Like, if they take either of the other things, I still have Force Blue card. The show and tell there would have killed their Bridge from below, which actually matters. Okay, now I don't have to give them a Spirit. And I'm not gonna. Oath. Let's go. Use the ability, please. I milled an Oko and some lands. Nothing too damaging. Okay, there's show and tell. Boseiju kills their Bazaar. Oko's a freebie. Show and tell versus Demonic Tutor is actually interesting because I can blow up their bridges with a show and tell. I Legend Rule Atraxa, it dies, the bridges are gone. I think Demonic Tutor is probably better. What am I DTing for? Time Walk? Yeah, okay. Alright, talk myself into it. And then Misstep versus Mystical Tutor. They could have Cabal Therapy. Alright, I'll take the Mental Misstep. Oh, wait. Why am I trying to Boseiju them? I literally have Strip Mine in the pile. Okay, that's better. Done. Draw for turn. Do I want to Strip Mine them now? Yeah, I'll just get them. I could have, or no, I don't have blue and black. I can't DT for Time Walk here. Cool. All right. They did just enough to show me their Dredge. I appreciate the no scoop there. They kept 7, and I wouldn't have read like the Molda Forest, Chasing Bazaar, or anything. Leyline of the Void, Sarah's Emissary. These are the for sures. Flash can also nuke Bazaars. I like that. Looking at Oko's Misstep Probe. Don't need my basic island. They're not attacking my land in this particular Bazaar deck. I do like having all my jam options still in the show and tells and the oaths. I don't think I'm supposed to try to portal them. Force of Negation might be worse than Oko. The spells I would care about are all pitch spells that would happen on my own turn. So Force of Negation is a no thank you. Okay, I'm going to hit submit right here like this. I'm leaving my Flusterstorms and Forces in because if I have a Leyline, I just want to protect it. Okay. It's a little Ancestral Recall plus Leyline of the Void action. On a 7, I'm keeping. Keep. Okay, they kept a 6 with Leyline of Sanctity. My Graveyard Hate is not targeted. I can't oath them, though, so I have to show and tell, or remove this. That also means that Forbidden Orchard doesn't give them spirits. The ability has no legal targets. That's cool. Just 5-color land. They exiled Grief, Stinkweed, and Archamoeba. Let's see if I get Force of Vigor on my upkeep. Nope. Alright, neat. I'm going to play this Underground Sea and pass. I'm just going to wait on the Ancestral. What's the rush? Let them Bazaar. Let them have fewer cards in their hand. Cabal Therapy Bridge, Wasteland gone. Played a Strip Mine. Okay, so they are a land disruption build of this. Ancestral myself here. There's an Oath that doesn't work until I find a Beseiju. Alright. Oh shit. I just clicked on Tropical Island. I wanted to vamp this turn. Loose. Okay, discard this bonus Leyline. Yeah, that's like a whole turn of tutoring for an Atraxa and flashing it in that I don't get here. Pretty bad. They discarded a hollow one. That's scary, because that tends to be their backup plan when they're facing down a Leyline, and they just decided the 2 cards in their hand are better than a 4/4 being in play. They must have 4 screen card. They do, okay. That is exactly what just happened. And I just discarded my redundant Leyline. There's Emissary, okay. Well, Forbidden Orchard get in. And they do actually get to start Bazaaring here. Depending on what they come up with, I vamp for Strip Mine and try to set them back. Wasteland, okay. Alright, make a black, vamp. Okay, so I could get Strip Mine and just make it so they're not really doing anything, but they do get to mill 2. They can tap Bazaar, draw 2, discard 2, and if it's a dredger, they could start doing stuff. But then they're slow dredging and working their way. Like, I'm working my way up to show and tell Sarah's Emissary, and then they can't win. I am going to get the Strip Mine. And they're doing their mill right now. We're going to find out at this moment. They did find a Golgari Thug. They will be dredging a little bit. Maybe getting a Atraxa and just loading up versus the opponent who's floundering is good. But also just putting them to almost no action feels good too. Okay. 1 dredge to rule them all. Grief, Creep, Probe, Bridge. Nothing. So no dredger. They're drawing cards. They don't have a Bazaar. My Gambit paid off this time. And I'm up to 3 mana here. I'm not going to play Oath because they can still trigger it, but I can't. Oath does target. You have to target an opponent. That's the hang up here. And I'm going to show and tell this Sarah's Emissary. And they could put in Golgari Thug or whatever, but let's hope that's not better than my Emissary. Me and my creatures have protection from creatures. They're dead in 3 hits here while doing basically nothing. If this Thug attacks, I'm not going to block. I both don't take damage from it because I have protection from it, but even if I didn't, putting it in their graveyard's no good. Alright, cool. They're done. A clean victory over Dredge. Alright, so 3-2 record, finally a blemish on my Oath testing. One of them, 1000% my fault, that's why we test. That game, that first Oath Mirror, I win if I just load up colorless, or not colorless, any color I can, float a color, an irrelevant color in their first end step, and I win that game. The other Oath Mirror, they did a good job hiding information, and I wasted a game with the wrong half of my deck in. And then they beat me straight up on the last round when we both knew what was going on. I would like to find some piece of tech for the Oath Mirror, whether it's just Thoughtseize. I've been pretty impressed by that when my opponents cast it. Just something small. It doesn't have to be a huge juke, but the Oath Mirror is both weird magic and likely to be popular. And I want to solve for that because I'm not really worried about anything else. In 15 matches, I've defeated every deck that's not Oath. I punted one Oath mirror, and I narrowly lost another Oath mirror. So, it's really figure out the Oath mirror, and off we go for here. End of the day, Gaia's Blessing. That was the thing I was looking for. Just never even thought about it this league. Never wanted it. Never wished it existed. Except for Time Walk. Like, just getting Time Walk back into your deck, or back into your hand in some capacity, would be nice. There are builds of this with Yogg Will. There's the build with Gaia's Blessing that can get into a, air quotes, infinite Oath situation, where if you have multiple Oaths, you can trigger them every turn and eventually find your Time Walk and then shuffle your deck back in. I don't know that that's necessary. I like it, it's fun, but I think it's worse than a Thoughtseize if we have one flex slot to play with. And that's where I'm going to leave this. I leave for Eternal Weekend tomorrow, and I will be playing something very close to this. Everybody, thanks for watching. Brendan, thank you for the opportunity to play this deck again. Everyone, check out the Patreon, buy a BoshNRoll shirt from coalesceapparel.shop, and I'll see you next time.